Hi everyone, welcome and thank you for returning. I honestly appreciate you all and your continued support. Today I have a few rather serious subjects to cover, so without any further ado, let's get into it. A man by the name of Scott Snow, an injured veteran and one who was the poster boy for Canada's 2023 Invictus team in Düsseldorf, Germany, was seriously injured at the Games. And first, I'm going to tell you what happened, and then we are going to look into the failures on different levels. Scott is a 43-year-old retired Navy diver and Special Forces operator from Newfoundland. Scott starred in a promotional video for the 2023 Invictus. In the video, he discussed his 2 daughters, the 12 surgeries he has undergone for service-related injuries, and his battle with PTSD and depression. He said he applied to join the Invictus team so that his daughters, who were too young to see him in uniform before his medical retirement, could see him represent his country. In his opening rugby match against the United States in Düsseldorf on September the 10th, Scott was in a chair that did not have a restraint strap. He reached up to catch a ball and fell backwards. A video of the incident shows his head and back slamming into the floor under the weight of his 250-pound body. Scott, however, finished the game. Afterwards, he went to see the team doctor and German medical officials, and they all told him that he did not need x-rays. Back in Canada, though, he resumed his physiotherapy, and his therapist urged him to have x-rays taken in order to find the cause of the loss of sensation and tingling in his hands and feet. The x-rays revealed a cervical spine injury, and he had to undergo an operation to fuse his vertebrae together. His arms improved, but the tingling in his legs did not stop. On further investigation, Scott learned that he also cracked vertebrae in his lower spine as well, which required another operation. Canada's Invictus team is managed by Soldier On, a semi-autonomous Canadian Armed Forces program. Soldier On helps ill and injured Canadian Armed Forces members and veterans recover through sport, recreational and creative activities. Veterans Affairs Canada also supports the Invictus program by providing funding to Soldier On, including the $16 million to allow Canada to host the 2025 Games in Whistler, and they also fund the Canadian team's participation. Now, due to his injuries and recovery, Scott could not navigate the stairs at his home and had to stay in a retirement home costing $5,000 per month. He also had problems with the vision in his left eye after the fall, but had to stop therapy because he could no longer afford it. Scott says that he emailed Soldier On and informed them of his injuries and struggles, but to date, absolutely no one had reached out to him. Now, Scott blames Soldier On, whom he says never explained to him and other veterans that they needed to have their own health insurance to cover medical expenses for injuries sustained while competing. Serving members of the Canadian Armed Forces, though, had those expenses covered by the Canadian Armed Forces healthcare plan, but veterans, according to Soldier On, were responsible for their own insurance. So Scott not knowing that, eventually had to rely on his own credit card for the immense expenses due to his injuries. Now, I understand why Scott is blaming Soldier on, and perhaps also Veteran Affairs. I think it is 100% amiss of them not to in some way come to his aid. But what about the Invictus organization themselves? If you go on the website, one of the first things you will see is a quote by Dr. Dave Henson, MBE, a man who himself is a double amputee, a Paralympian and former Invictus competitor. The quote reads, "Everything is long-term. There is no recovered. It's all recovery. We need to ensure that the resources available to those who need recovery are sustainable and long-term." Going onto the Invictus website, you will also find that they partner with numerous other companies, charities, and funds. I cannot understand why Invictus as organization cannot take a small portion of the responsibility for an accident which happened during the games and help Scott, or if it is not in their portfolio to do so, then get one of their partners to do so. If millions can be spent on salaries and Harry and Meghan's accommodation, flights and entertainment for them, then surely they can assist a veteran who's supported the games. And like I said, if it's not in their portfolio to do so, then surely they can take an interest and put one of their affiliates or partners in touch with him. And what about the Endeavour Fund? The Endeavour Fund was transferred from the Royal Foundation to the Invictus Games Foundation in 2020. The Endeavour Fund support other as well as grants for other sport activities during the year. Now, I don't know, but I feel that somehow through the Invictus and Endeavour network, there has to be help for someone like Scott Snow. And if Harry is such a humanitarian, he would or should facilitate help for Scott. Okay, so Harry has arrived in New York City over the weekend. He attended a prestigious World Health Organization dinner. The event, held before the United Nations General Assembly opening, saw global dignitaries attending. People like Queen Matilda of Belgium, actor Forrest Whitaker, Prime Minister Alexander De Croo, and many others. The dinner was held to honour survivors of childhood violence, and Harry and the Queen actually engaged with survivors. Like we were informed, Meghan will not come to New York City, and therefore she also did not attend this dinner. And once again, Harry was flying solo. What really also once again made me shake my head in awe was the fact that it was a supposed prestigious dinner, and all the men in every photograph I saw wore a tie except for Harry, who looked sloppy in an unironed shirt and sweaty, unwashed hair. Ugh. To end this video on a couple of things you may or may not have seen before, I am aware that Harry was in Austin, Texas last year. I know he was there without Meghan. I mean, we saw a few photographs, and I can sort of faintly remember him attending the Formula One Grand Prix. What I did not know was that he was the guest of the Mercedes team. He brought Alexei Rubicho of Better Up With Him, and he was photographed at the Circuit of America's garage talking to team executives and in the paddock. But what I found particularly interesting are these photographs, also taken at the Formula One Grand Prix, and they are of Harry and some Tahitian surfers, among whom Raimana van Basteelier, who is extremely well known among surfers worldwide. Raimana was a bodyboarder until 1996, but is now the ultimate VAL surf coach on the WSL Surf Ranch. One of the other surfers in the group picture is Kelly Slater. Now, Kelly Slater is the guy with the bald head and the light grey shirt out front, I think on the left. Who the blonde is next to Harry, I certainly don't know. Anyway, but this is old news. It is just the first time that I saw these pictures, so I thought you may find it interesting as well. Now, I would like to end the video on a positive note and with a palate cleanser, and therefore end the video with a post by Ledovin 2021 on Instagram of a quote by Prince William. Catherine and I are committed to service. That's not telling people what to do. It is about serving and supporting them in whatever way they think best. Okay, guys and girls, I think that is it for today. I hope you will all take excellent care of yourselves until we meet again on the next one. Bye.